one more time. So my headline says Guide to Successful School Year. So have I got your attention on the edge of your seat, please? I have 5 ideas. I'm sure they're very ordinary ideas, but I want to stir them up. You know this, but I want to stir it up so that you'll have a great year. All of you want to have a good year, and you're probably already off to a good year. And by the way, if you're not in school, it applies to people who are going to work, who are teaching, certainly, to married couples, young married couples, newly married couples, wannabe couples,
engaged couples,
engaged couples, and
are you guys the wannabe?
So my first idea came to mind when I said Guide to a Successful School Year. Choose to enjoy each class and each course that you take. In other words, here I'm talking about attitude. Have a positive attitude. And see, there are a lot of things in school around you can't control. You can't control your teacher. You can't control your classmates. You can't control the content of the course, but you can control your attitude. So when I'm talking about a positive attitude, I'm talking about words like confidence, grateful, optimistic, and enthusiastic. Those are all words that come to mind. And I'll give you a little Jim story. Talked to Jonathan yesterday, and I said, how's Jim like in school? He said, well, Erica asked him after the first day, she asked him 2 things. Number one, what did you learn in school? And he says, don't share your toys. You know,
4 years to try to teach them.
We try to teach our kids to share. First thing they learn in school, don't share. Anyway, but then Jonathan asked him, how did you like school? And he says, great. He said, I just finished walking him to school. He was chatting the whole way. He walked off. He's happy to leave me, let me go to school. That's attitude. That's what I'm talking about. Be like a kid. Be like a kid that enjoys school. Wayne Dreger told me, I had breakfast with him yesterday. Wayne was my former pastor. He said, yeah, I remember my first day of school. I came home and cried, and I told my mom I didn't learn how to read. So he's quite an academic anyway. So have an expectation, a positive attitude, number 1. Okay, that's a positive mental attitude will help you to succeed because our brain functions better when you have positive thoughts, and there's all kind of evidence for that. So if you want to succeed at school, get in a good frame of mind. Number 2, view each subject. Oh yeah.
What about them thinking
Oh yeah. I just about forgot my favorite quote. I asked Diane to help me find a quote on the right attitude. I'm saying enjoy each class. My favorite quote there is Anne of Green Gable famously said, it's been my experience that you can nearly always enjoy things if you make up your mind firmly that you will. Isn't that a great quote? Thanks, Diane. She's been my very capable speechwriter, so she knows it's here. So what else did you write here? Okay, number 2.
That was my only thing, so I didn't want it to be left.
She corrected a few spelling mistakes. View each subject as an obstacle course. So our formal education, our schooling, really is based around the obstacle course model. Because each course, they outline a bunch of obstacles and you have to overcome those obstacles. And if you overcome them, then you get a pass, and they grade you on your how aptly you overcame those obstacles. So I think if you overcome take that mentality going into a course, okay, here's an obstacle course, what will I do? Treat it like a game. No matter which game you choose, whether you choose a corn maze or a board game or a video game or a ski hill or a mountain bike course, they're all, what's the fun of it? They present you with a challenge, and then you try to overcome the challenge. And when you do, you feel good. So if you see your educational program, and the higher you move in the education, the more you'll realize how true that is. That it's an obstacle course. It's not so much about learning stuff. It's all about testing your ability to solve problems and overcome obstacles. That's what education is all about. So learn to see yourself walking in. Okay, here's a game. I'm going to win this game. And then you use your intelligence, your creativity, and sometimes your athleticism to score the highest score in the game, and you'll feel really good about that. So that's the overcoming the obstacle course, and I felt really good when I came up with that point for this speech. Then develop a support network. And here I have to tell a little bit about use myself as I'm a terrible illustration of how to be successful at school, because I was successful, I got through school, but in terms of really mastering it, I didn't catch on till I got to the master's program. Elementary school, I breezed through. I can't remember anything about it except I was always in the top half of the class, and nobody ever asked me how you felt. My parents could care less. They just wanted to send me out of school. They were glad to get me out of the house. You're going to school, and I'd beg to stay home, and once in a while they'd let me. But anyway, then in high school, I got through high school with very little homework, and as a result, I didn't have very good work habits, and but I passed everything in high school. Never failed a test, as far as I know and can remember. I never failed a test in all of elementary school or junior high or high school. So I got through. I fluked my way through somehow, and if I would have had a mentor, somebody would have given me a speech like this, I think I could have done better, and I would have felt better about it rather than now apologizing to you guys for what a lame example.
What about Uncle James?
What is it?
What about Uncle James?
Oh, he was gone. He was 4 years ahead of me.
Oh, so
when I was in grade 8, he was gone. But yeah, we all got through school, but it was, the emphasis was on, it was a different environment. It was in that era, you didn't have to compete for a job because there were jobs plentiful, and secondary, you could get into university without, I don't know if they looked at your transcript or not, your high school transcript. So I got into the university that I wanted to go to, but when I got there, I was ill prepared for it because I didn't have any study habits, didn't have systems, didn't know how to organize in preparing for tests, and so I did okay, although I did fail one course in university. I failed American history in my second year university. That was the April final exam. I flunked. Then I kind of reviewed my notes, did the rewrite in August, and I passed, and away I went. So I finished school. I really got serious about school when I went to in my master's program in Chicago at Trinity Seminary, which goes called Trinity Evangelical Divinity School. And I fluked into 3 great study buddies, Bob Newman, Grant Osborne. This morning I looked at my Bible, or yesterday I checked to make sure this was true. NLT. If you have an NLT Bible, look under the editors. Who are the editors of an NLT Bible? And there's the name, Grant Osborne. That was my buddy, my study buddy. We always hung out together, and Bob and I made fun of him endlessly because he was such a absent-minded professor. He gave us lots to make fun of him. But Bob and Grant both were expected nothing but A's. And they got A's not because they were smart. They got A's because they studied. And once I started studying like they did, I started getting A's. And at the end of my master's program, the 3-year program, I graduated from TEDS with my cum laude designation, which helps. As even now, it gives you credibility. So a lot of people get a master's degree, but if I can say, well, I graduated from TEDS and it's a major school, cum laude with a master's degree, Oh, okay. So you have some. Don't say it often. I did tell the court that when I was in court giving my testimony. Anyway, okay. So, but I would not have gotten there without my study buddies, and that helped me along. And Diane did a lot of typing for me, and it was all on the classic.
Was she the third study buddy?
Yeah, she was kind of. She wasn't quite as much a study buddy as she was to Rachel.
Yeah, the third one.
Yeah.
She did all my
You need
papers
to
are
do
typed
both.
on
Okay.
on
You do it
the
all.
my papers were all typed on the latest and the greatest typewriter, the IBM Selectric. Some of you maybe know it. It had the ball.
Yeah.
You could change the type and click, beautiful. All looked like original print. So, but we
Couldn't
had
do it like on the computer.
we
where you just
no computer. She typed out.
Do you handwrite it all first?
You handwrite it.
So
Probably
get
did.
their peers. So where are you going to get these study buddies from? Well, some peers. You might have some in your class you can study with. Your parents. There might be a tutor that offers to help you. Or remember, your teachers also your support network. Go to your teacher. Teachers are far more willing to help than most students realize. And if you have any questions or doubts, that can pull you up. And let your teacher be your friend. That could be another point here. It's hard to win a fight against a teacher. Don't pick a fight with a teacher. That's pointless. That just might lower your grade. So you got the 3 points so far. Choose the right attitude. View each obstacle course, and then support network. Number 4, counsel yourself with healthy self-talk. In life you're going to need counselors. The most important counselor you'll ever meet is within you yourself, as you counsel yourself. So you have to learn to counsel yourself. So develop healthy self-talk. And realize I'm created in the image of God. I have value. With God's help, I can move a mountain. I have a lot of power and strength. Here are some of the motivational slogans that have helped me that I found. One of them is a Bible verse, Philippians 4:13. I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. When you feel you can't do it, you say that verse. Another one, very important one, is to have begun is to be half done. Or as Mark Twain says, the secret of getting ahead is getting started. So especially in assignments and projects and stuff, if it's meant to be, it's up to me. Or if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. So look up, if you Google motivational slogans, they'll a whole list of pick some and kind of use those to put them on your mirror or something, and to pick yourself up. And then my 5th point, last point, don't expect it to be easy. Remember that the harder you work for something, the greater will be your sense of achievement. See, when you really make a great achievement, the first thing you want to do is tell somebody else about it, because you feel really good about it. So don't expect it to be easy, but it's worth it. And I'm saying here, remember, you don't have to be perfect. Don't be too hard on yourself. And Diane has a quote there, better to try something great and fail than to try at nothing and succeed. You can make your quote up the wording. Better to try something difficult and fail than it is to try something difficult and succeed.
No.
Oh no, the last part I got the wrong.
That's it. Try nothing and succeed.
That's right. Not there you go. That's the word. I didn't have that word
But
out
the
here.
thing that I heard just recently was the best thing is to try and succeed. The next best thing is to try and fail.
Yeah.
So it's the same
up
thing.
there.
The key is try. Give it your best effort. And the bottom line on my page here is in bold print. It says, above all things, remember God loves you and prayer is powerful. So God's love for us, that kind of helps us in those dark moments, and when we feel like giving up, and He picks us up. And prayer is powerful. I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for prayer. Because so many people would say, "You still alive?" They heard I was going to die, and then they see me, and I look, still pretty vibrant. So I say it's prayer. I don't know what proportion of it is medicine, but medicine also is of God. That's the result of prayer too. People pray, and I pray regularly. We're just reading Genesis. It says God gives you authority, or, take charge and rule over the universe, over the earth, over the animal world. Submit. What's it called? I don't have the Bible verse exactly, but so the germs also are under our mandate. So I pray that we'll be able to exercise that authority and get that, and we will.
Figure it out.
I'm sure we will, because it's remember, above all things, remember God's love for you, and prayer is powerful.